gather on the table once again for another session of Dungeons and Drakfus, and today we're taking on the third instance of Cataclysm. We've already braved the plane of water. It's time for us to now delve deeper into the plane of earth as we take on the Stonecore. So first of all, happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope everybody had a good BlizzCon weekend. But let's go ahead and get things started. We are stepping into the Stonecore, which is the only instance that you get in the Temple or in the Realm of Earth. So let's go ahead and go into its lore before we step into the heroic version, because you actually have a chance at a mount. Within the Temple of Earth, locked in the heart of Deepholm, lies the Stonecore. It was inside these caverns that the Twilight's hammer toiled over Deathwing, hammering elementium plates to the dragon aspect's body, in an attempt to hold his tormented form together. With his renewal complete, Deathwing ascended into Azeroth, shattering the world pillar and destabilizing the region of Deepholm. Alright, so let's go ahead and step in there. Really quick, do we have anything for it? Yes, we do. So we need to speak with Earthwarden Yrsa inside the Stonecore. Let's go ahead and bring that back out. And then also we have Wayward Child, which I believe Therazane gave to us, because we need to take care of Osric. So let's go ahead and get into the Stonecore. So yeah, this is actually the place that you saw in the Cataclysm cinematic, intro cinematic, where you saw like Deathwing having elementium plates hammered onto his body. That's where this was. So it's actually really cool for that. Here is Earthbinder Yrsa, or Earthwarden Yrsa. So into the Stonecore. Oh, it's about time they sent someone to help. Millhouse Manastorm. It sounds like we're both after the same person. While I document, we've tailed one of the Twilight's hammer operatives in here. He goes by the name of Millhouse Manastorm. We have reason to believe he's carrying some important documents. This is as far as we can safely go, however, without neglecting our duty to defend the Temple of Earth's inner perimeter. Track down Manastorm and retrieve the documents from him. Alright, so it just so happens that Millhouse is, well, right in front of us. I don't think we're going to have to worry too much about this. Let's go ahead and start taking him on. Now, the fun part about this is he occasionally will cast a Shadow Bolt to you, but eventually he'll try and actually start casting Impending Doom, and he never gets around to it. He always gets interrupted. It's almost like it's an amazing spell, and we will never know what it is. Well, he ran off to go get even more Twilight minions on his side. So let's go and take care of them. There you go.
Prison taught me one very important lesson. Well, two if you count how to hold your soap. But yes, survival!
How to hold your soap is very important in prison. We can't deny that. There we go, so he's gonna keep on going. Oh, look! Ah, crap, he's got a bigger army now.
Full power of Millhouse Manastorm!
Well, that didn't last very long, now did it? Okay, so this is actually the first boss of the instance, Corborus. And it's actually a brand spanking new design. You've been seeing it throughout all of Deepholm when I did my questing here, but this is the first boss that actually uses it. So, Corborus. Deathwing enslaved the massive gyre worm Corborus and drove it to unearth the vast amounts of elementium required to forge the dragon aspect's new plating. With Deathwing's departure, however, Corborus has broken loose and now rampages through the Stonecore in blind fury. Okay, so let's go ahead and take him on. Boom! And I actually probably ought to turn this off too. Auto loot. Alright, deeper we go into the Stonecore.
I'm out of
Obviously, these are just probably normal denizens here. I wish there was more lore to this place than what I was actually able to tell you, but no, this is just basically the place where Deathwing was before he shattered the world pillar and thus created the Cataclysm. There really isn't a whole lot else to go over. Oh, look at that. We have a Drake who's been waiting for us. And now he's starting to drop stuff on our heads. That's not good. Well, let's go ahead and get down here and see if maybe we can stop it. Oh, there we go. So this is the second boss of Deepholm, which is Slabhide. Fun fact, on heroic mode, this guy drops a mount similar to how he looks. So let's go ahead and go into his lore. With his powers as the aspect of Earth amplified by the old gods, Deathwing easily swayed Deepholm's stoneworms into serving the Twilight's hammer. One of the most ambitious of these creatures, Slabhide, hopes to earn Deathwing's favor by exterminating any intruders brazen enough to enter the Stonecore. So all you gotta do is kill him, and then we may have a chance at a mount. And there you go, he's dead. And no mount. That's just my luck. Now, the cool part is that if you get this far into the instance, you now get this Stonecore teleporter, so you don't have to worry about going all the way back if you wipe. Especially since the next couple of the next boss is roughly what I would consider to be the Cataclysm tank check. If you knew what you were doing as a tank, then this boss is a cinch. If you don't, however, you were easily dismissed. Let's just put it that way. But now we're entering the Chamber of Fanatics, which is basically where all of the Twilight's hammer are here. We want to be a little careful because these torchbearers are scouts. They will eventually warn other groups. And I don't want to pull the sides if I don't have to. There we go. And so here is the third boss of the Stonecore, Osric. So he is the tank check, and he is not fun. I remember having to tank him in Cataclysm. Not to say I was a bad tank or anything, I just was under-geared when I tried to take him on the first time. And it was not a fun process, especially when you're trying to learn the new dance that he requires. Let's go and go into his lore. Osric has served as Stonecore's guardian since Deepholm's creation. It is unknown why Osric has remained in the Stonecore, but it has become apparent that the Guardian now believes that anyone opposed to Deathwing is a threat to Deepholm, and should therefore be destroyed. There you go. Let's go ahead and take him out.
None may pass into the world's heart.
Now, I wish I could say the next boss after this guy is hard. It really isn't. I actually remember this being the hardest boss in this entire instance, and I hated getting this on Heroic, because then at that point, if you failed once, that was really the LFG equivalent of, you can't do it. Even though you had, like, all of the... You had the Stonecore achievement for Heroic, and nobody trusted that. Tank checks are kind of hard to get across, especially when you rely solely on things like achievements to be able to say they did it, because at that point it could have been actually somebody else playing the character. But, like I said, Osric was the most difficult. Then we bounced into the actual place where Deathwing broke through, so you can actually see the hole right there. And the boss guarding it isn't quite as hard, as it is High Priestess Azula. So this is the woman that we actually saw during the Deepholm questing that was talking to Millhouse. This is the leader of the Twilight's Hammer down here. And let's go ahead and go into her lore before we pull the boss. High Priestess Azula is one of the few who has survived communing with the Twilight's Hammer cult's eldritch masters. Although a little remains of her sanity, she instills terror in lesser cultists so that she will then sacrifice them... so that they will sacrifice themselves without hesitation when their masters command it. So here we go. All you gotta do is just pull all these guys. And then do something like this. Hi. Okay, let's take you out now.
The world will be reborn in flames!
Will it now?
For my death, countless more will fall. The burden is now yours.
Again, she wasn't that hard. At 50%, as soon as you got a hold of her mechanics, which is basically don't stand in void zones and don't stand near her when she's going to do a bunch of gravity stuff. The only thing that was hard about her was eventually you'd get to an ad phase and she tossed meteors at you, but if you knew how to dodge, then you were fine with it. So let's go ahead and grab all these. And that does it for the Stonecore. Now I'm actually going to show this off a little bit. There you go. You can actually see the hole that goes out all the way through the Temple of Earth and through the world. So that's actually where Deathwing entered and caused the Cataclysm. And if you look around this area, you just see even more elements of the intro cinematic. So we can see these big braziers. We can see the hammers that they use to hammer the Elementium death plates on, or the Elementium plates onto Deathwing, which looked like dragons. Oh, that's still a really cool design. I wish we would see more of that. And there you go. So then you can see the raw pool of lava that he was standing right above. I don't think you can actually step in here. Yep, you can't. It's just kind of an added bonus that you can look into. But that actually is going to go ahead and do it for this episode of Dungeons and Drakfus. When we come back next week, we will then be delving into yet another plane of elemental plane as we step into the plane of air in the Vortex Pinnacle. We'll see you guys then.